Welcome back for episode 27. I apologize in advance again for audio quality or video quality. As you can tell, I'm in a hotel room. I didn't realize that this was my weekend for recording, and we're in Albuquerque right now. So about 600 miles from home, and I was not prepared for this. So I don't have my usual lighting or my mic for me. So anyways, just bear with me during this, and I'm gonna try and keep it short and sweet because I have other things that I'm trying to do on this trip. So this is episode 27, and the first thing I wanted to do is a recap of something I mentioned a couple of episodes ago. I talked about how Model 3s being made in China are getting wireless charging as well as the USB-C ports in the rear center console, and that is now happening in the US. So starting on June, I believe it was June 6th or 7th, Model 3s here in the US are now getting those as a standard option. Another quick little thing is that Tesla updated their website. This now has solar roofs and solar panels is the main thing. This is because they're reducing their prices by about 20% and increasing the solar panel package size or whatever by about 10%. So I recommend if you've been toying with the idea of getting Tesla solar panels, just go to tesla.com and you can see that right over there on their website. It's the first thing that shows up. And then I have a quick few public service announcements for you. The first one is that there are a lot of Model Ys that are showing up for test drives. So if that's something you've been wanting to do, contact your nearest delivery center. They might actually have one for you now. The next one is that if you've been wanting to share access for your car, you can now do that through the Tesla website. It's a lot simpler. Before you had to call in and request that somebody be added. Now you can just do it straight up off the website and you can add up to 5 other drivers to your account. This does a couple things. One is that they cannot do any upgrades through the app, and then the other is that they can't contact roadside service. And then just another little public service announcement. Tesla used to charge like $100+ for tire rotations. That's rumored to be going down to about $35 or so. I know that you can go to like places like Costco or Big O Tires or whatever and get free rotations if you purchase your tires there. But if you did just buy a new Tesla, you can just go back to Tesla and they'll do it for about $35. All right, so back to the news. I'm actually going to start with software like I usually do. Last episode, we talked about 2020.20.12 coming out to cars. You should have this by now. Almost all cars have it. We even have it. We're usually the last people to basically get any update according to Teslafy, but we got that about a week ago. So if you don't have that, maybe make sure that you've got your car connected to Wi-Fi. If you've been connected to Wi-Fi, maybe think about reaching out to Tesla. But apart from that, there's the next software update coming out. This is the nice thing about doing this every 2 weeks is we're either getting a new software update or we're hearing about new updates or features that are coming out. So this next one is pretty feature heavy, and I'm just gonna go through all the things really quick that it's gonna have. So the first thing is something that I've been wanting for a long time. It's when you turn the backup camera on, there's now gonna be little images or video streaming of the side cameras that face backwards. Those are the 2 cameras that already record in dash cam mode. It's gonna be really nice to have those, especially if you have a really tight garage or space that you're backing into. The next one is the dash cam viewer. Apparently this update is going to include like a little red dot showing you right where the incident happened that triggered the recording. And when you tap on the video, it's supposed to jump right to that screen. I'm super grateful for this because honestly, I felt like dash cam viewer has been kind of half-baked up until this point. Once this comes out, assuming that everything works really well, it's pretty smooth, I'm gonna feel like this is actually what should have been released in the first place. I know this is me getting kind of picky, this is first world problems, but I'm just really grateful to have a functional dash cam viewer that's coming out pretty quick. Another one is when the car automatically locks when you walk away. Some people don't like that option when the car's in the garage, so this is going to be an option for you to toggle on or off. Another thing is that for third-party chargers, you can actually now get the car to preheat when going to those. So it would preheat to condition the battery or help the battery accept a charge when you go to superchargers, but now this will happen for third-party fast chargers. The next thing is the cabin camera that's in the Model 3 and Model Y will now start recording based off of a crash or an incident like that. So it'll save just a few seconds leading up to that. This is pretty nice, and I hope that one of the things that comes later on is that this will actually record during break-ins. So if Sentry mode goes off or anything like that, that it'll record the cabin camera as well as the outside cameras. Current autopilot system for full self-driving will stop automatically at stop signs and stop lights. This will now automatically go through green lights, assuming that one, the car recognizes that the that the light is green, and 2, that you have a car in front of you for your car to follow. If either of those is not true, or the car does not recognize that the light is in fact green, the car will automatically stop, and just like you can now, you can press the gear selector or the accelerator to keep going. Obviously, I follow Tesla pretty closely, and one of the things that I follow is the Tesla Motors sub on Reddit. And 2 of the posts that have gotten a lot of traction these last 2 weeks have actually been people that have either declined to receive their car at delivery, or that took it back after because of too many issues. There are a few thoughts that I have on this. I don't want to be like somebody who's complaining a ton, but I feel like this is just totally unacceptable. For a car that costs $50, $60, $70, whatever, $1,000, this is just not okay. Tesla, you really need to get your act together when it comes to quality control. I know that the squeaky wheel gets the grease, so a lot of these things that show up online aren't the same experience that everybody has, but just looking at some of these photos is just absolutely atrocious. I feel like Tesla is kind of at this spot where they're trying to get as many cars out as they can before the end of the quarter, and then they'll fix the issues later on. But that just causes more work for the service centers and things like that. So Tesla, make sure that your cars are in good shape before you try to deliver them to a customer. Saves a lot of time, a lot of problems, a lot of hassle. It's just totally unacceptable. So anyways, that's the end of my rant. I just wish that Tesla quality control did a little bit better, and that Tesla did a better job, especially considering their price point. Anyways, on to more positive news. The Model S got an updated EPA range, and it now breaks 400 miles. This is the first for any EV, but it's now 402, and this actually goes right in line with Elon saying that the EPA had left the door open or something like that a little while back, and it had drained some battery, and that's why it was like 393 miles, I think, before. But either way, really cool to see that these Teslas are now surpassing 400 miles. A couple years ago, people said that the sweet spot would be 300 miles, and then that got moved over to 400. Now we're at 400 miles. And speaking of 400 mile range, there were some rumors coming out of the Model 3 long range having a 100 kilowatt hour battery. Currently, the Model 3 has a 74 kilowatt hour battery, and these rumors actually got squashed by Elon, actually. Basically, he just said that this is not something that's in development right now, and then the person who leaked it came out later and said that they rooted the car and found that the car actually just had the standard 74 kilowatt hour battery. So if you had heard that rumor, I'm sorry to let you know that that is in fact false. If you hadn't heard that rumor, well, hopefully I didn't get your hopes up just now. Yeah, there's no 100 kilowatt hour battery coming out for the Model 3. So there's a video that just came out by Rich Rebuilds, and I don't know if they're buying these parts that I'm about to talk about from another company or not, but there is another company called, let's see here, Ingenext, and they have basically these same things on their website for the same prices, similar wording, almost actually same exact wording. So I think that there's another company that Rich Rebuilds is buying this from. But anyways, it's a modifier. Basically, you can improve performance for your car, and they've got 2 stages out now, and the third one we're apparently going to get details on later. But I'm going to go over those stages with you really quick. So the first one is just a little chip that you plug in underneath the driver's side footwell, and it's $1,100. It adds about 50 horsepower. It brings the 0 to 60 time down from 4.4 seconds to 3.9. This is in the all-wheel drive Model 3, I should have specified. And it costs $1,100. So that's stage 1. No other modifications, you just plug it in, you're good to go. The second stage is $2,250, and this is supposed to bring the performance down to be similar to the Performance Model 3. So from 4.4 seconds to about 3.3 seconds. They say 3.2 to 3.4, so I'm just generalizing at 3.3. The downside of this one is you actually have to go into their location to get this applied, and then if you even want updates in the future that have like improved autopilot or whatever else, you actually have to go back and have them reapply it, and you have to pay a small fee each time. So, I don't know. Not sure if that's worth it, but at least it's an option, so. So Tesla released their annual energy report, and they talk about a few things. It's about 57, 58 pages long. I went through it for you, so you don't have to go through and read it, but if you have about an hour and a half or so, I highly recommend it. The main things that they talk about are how clean Teslas are, how they're going to continue to get cleaner, how they compare to their similar vehicles of that category and things like that. They also are talking about how much solar energy that they are producing versus how much energy they're using at their factories and things like that. And then at the end of the life, what they're doing with Tesla batteries when they go and recycle them. Next up is you can now use a referral code for ordering the Model Y. As you can tell, I've never asked for somebody to use our referral code. I never will. I hope that you would use a referral code when you buy your car, because you get, as of right now, 1,000 miles of supercharging, and the person that referred you also gets 1,000 miles for supercharging. That being said, please, if you buy a car, use somebody's referral code, a friend, a family member, a coworker, anything. If you do not have anybody to use, then at that point, please feel free to use ours. I would much rather you get the credits than get nothing at all. So that's down in the description below, but please use somebody else's before using ours. Just make sure that you actually use one. Now on to Elon Tweets. The first one is this video that Pranay Pathol shares. I feel like I'm talking about him a lot right now in Elon Tweets, but it's a video of the Tesla that is avoiding hitting a pig at night that's in the road. I wish that this was real. I don't know if it is, just because I've seen obstacles in the road and I've had to swerve out of the way myself. The car hasn't done anything for me, but maybe there's something about this. I don't know. Maybe it's because the pig's moving, but I take this with a grain of salt. Either way, he shared that, and Elon's response was, autopilot prime directive is don't crash. What seems fast to humans is slow to a computer. 360-degree low light vision and sonar plus forward radar enabled to be superhuman. Upcoming software upgrades will increasingly show the potential. From the Tesla Truck Club, it said, it'd be great if the Cybertruck's rear window could roll down into the rear wheel well, and then the whole wall fold in on top of folded rear seats. Perfect for camping when tonneau is closed and for carrying things longer than 8 feet. Elon responded, worth considering. Elon had tweeted out about postponing the annual shareholder meeting, and Tesla owner Silicon Valley responded, dang, any updates on battery day? And Elon responded, probably good to combine them since they are converging in time. I'm hopeful we can announce a date after the July 4th week. And then the last thing is just a nice move that Tesla is making on their part. Elon tweeted out and said, Juneteenth is henceforth considered a US holiday at Tesla and SpaceX. So good work on changing over on that and allowing employees to celebrate that holiday. And last up is a Supercharger update. This has actually been a pretty decent 2 weeks compared to the last few episodes. So there have been 30 changes. There were 7 permits issued, 5 in the US and 2 in the UK. 6 started construction, 4 in the US, 1 in New Zealand, and 1 in Germany. 15 new sites opened, 14 of which were in the US, 1 was in Canada. And then to go along with that, there were 2 sites that were either temporarily closed or permanently closed, and those were both in the US. Thank you so much for watching. As always, you know that I appreciate it. Thank you for bearing with me as I'm in this new area. Hopefully the quality was okay for both light and audio. If you have any questions, please let me know. Other than that, I'll see you in the next one.